Hello and welcome to another episode of Stoked on Spokes. In today's video, we're going to be going over the Q&A questions that you guys asked. There wasn't too many questions, which is good, because then that means I could try to tackle all of them. But I can't promise that this video will be short, because sometimes I tend to ramble. I'll try to keep it as concise as I can, but again, no promises. So let's go over to the community tab here, see what kind of questions we got there. So Jason Amor asks, what are your recommended resources for learning how to do your own builds and maintenance? How did you get started? So my recommended resources for building out a bike, I'm assuming, Jason, you're asking about a bike and not the van, because your other questions are bike related. My recommended resources for building out a bike is just learning things one by one, and obviously YouTube. And what I mean by learning things one by one is start with your next mechanical. Whatever mechanical problem you have on your bike, try look it up on YouTube and fix it yourself. And then before you know it, you'll start learning basically all the parts of your bike. That's how I started on mine. I started riding track bikes, and it was very simple. Basically a drivetrain and your tires or tubes. Those are the only things that could go wrong on a track bike, really. So I just started working on those, and once I learned how to do that, just kind of carried over to the next bike I got. Any plans to get a fat bike? Why or why not? No, not right now. I don't have anything against fat bikes. I just don't really even desire one. The Plus bike, the Karate Monkey that I have right now, works perfect in snow. And yeah, not right now. And what's my full bike lineup? I have 3 bikes, 2 here, 1 in Colorado. 2 here are the Kona Roves LTD and the Karate Monkey. The bike I have in Colorado is a track bike or a fixed gear bike, and it is a Dolan precursor. It's kind of nice to have that bike back in Colorado because there's not a lot of places to go here and everything is relatively safe. In Colorado, when you're in a town or city, it's kind of nice to have a bike that you can take to like a brewery and lock it up and not really worry about it getting, not even just taken, but kind of messed with. DB asks, this is my first year riding outside throughout the winter like you. I ride a gravel bike on plowed forest roads, a combo of icy patches and packed snow in northern Wisconsin. It doesn't appear that you use studded tires. Please comment on your tire choices and recommendations. So I ride 650B wheels, and they are paired with WTV Venture 47C tires. This tire has been great even in the snow. They're meant for heavy gravel use. They're not the best on tarmac or road. So I'm considering when this snow melts and it eventually is sunny again, putting on some slicks, because I do think that with slick 650B tires, you have that perfect balance of cushion, support, but also really fast rolling on road. And I mean, the volume is there, so gravel's no problem. Eric says, hey, greetings from Minnesota. Hello, Eric. I was wondering how you dealt with the road salt after some of these winter rides. Thanks. So it's kind of a pain, but basically every ride that I go on that I film or even not film, you have to come back and wipe down your bike. It's not like a full bike bath, but I take a wet rag and make sure, especially the down tube and the seat tube, seat stays, chain stays, all that is cleaned off. And your components, just clean them off. It's kind of the worst part about riding in winter is that you have to clean your bike, especially up here because of the road salt. You have to clean your bike every time that you go on a ride. Robert has a few questions. We'll go one by one. First one being, why did you move to northern Wisconsin, and what do you like most/least about it? So I moved here in 2019. My wife Jordan moved here in 2018. So we did a year of long distance. I was back in Colorado teaching, and she was here in northern Wisconsin working at this summer camp. Where we live is actually on a camp which hosts kids in the summer and events throughout the year. What do I like most and least about it? What I like most about it is the solitude, the stillness. And what I like least about it is the solitude. It's a love-hate thing. I really love not hearing traffic and being out here, but I really also miss and love company and people to go on rides with and hang out with. That was one of the big reasons for getting Vida, is because I felt like out here I was doing everything by myself. Of course I have Jordan, but when it came to going on a little cruise on a bike ride, I didn't always have someone. When I played disc golf, didn't always have someone. So Vida has kind of been my buddy through it all. And she never says no to any of the activities that I ask her to do with me, so that's good. Speaking of Vida, the next question is, how's the dog doing? Vida is doing great. Her leg is recovering pretty well. But yeah, she won't be chasing the bike anytime soon. She got an operation called arthrodesis, where they put plates in her leg, and she has 11 screws in her leg. So she won't be chasing the bike anytime soon. I'll pop her in these videos every once in a while just because I know she has fans out there. Any particular bike upgrades you're looking forward to? Yes, this year I'm working once again with P&W Components. They're sending some bike upgrades for the Karate Monkey this time, so I'm excited to receive those in March and kind of change the Karate Monkey up a bit. On the Kona Rove, I've been thinking of getting some 700C wheels from Hunt, the 4-season wheels, but we'll see. Ida, Mountain Bike 9, says, where do you look for new routes to ride, and could you imagine to participate in a bike race? So what I do now, since discovering Komoot, is I actually still use Google Earth, because I find a spot or a road that looks really cool on Google Earth, and then I will find a destination, plug it into Komoot, and it shows you basically the road less traveled. Could I imagine participating in a bike race? Yeah. I have done a gravel race. Again, when I do a gravel race, it's not to race it, it's just to have a good time and have people out there kind of suffering with you, especially those longer ones, 100 miles. It's kind of nice to not be out there doing that alone. That, and you meet really cool people, so it's kind of a win-win. Well, win-win if you go into it with the right mentality. Any other social media we can follow you on? No, not right now. I do have an Instagram, but it's deactivated. It's been deactivated for a couple months now. I wasn't planning on deactivating it for this long, but I just deactivated it and haven't really missed it. Jason asks, do you have any issues with cold affecting the Wahoo GPS battery? A short answer, no. Wahoo created a super great device, knowing that it's going to be out front on your bicycle. I don't know how they did it, but their battery lasts all day, even in really cold temperatures. Dan Mooney, if you couldn't use drop bars on your gravel bike, what bars would you go for? That is easy. I think I would go for the Salsa Whammy bars. I've ran them on my track bike before, and they're a great fit. On a gravel bike with those Salsa Whammy bars, it would be a fun cruiser. Maybe add that dropper post, and you got a nice little town ripper that can shred some single track. And Haas Patrick asks, it seems like you almost have trails right out of your front door. How do you like where you currently live from your general neighborhood / area to Wisconsin in general? I love living here at camp. We live right on the lake. But again, it goes back to that community aspect. I am missing a sense of community here as far as cycling community and other hobbies that I do. Like, I love playing disc golf. I miss a disc golf community. So there's certainly elements of living here that I love, but there's elements that I miss about living in a town or a bigger city, things like that. The gravel up here is pretty insane though. I can walk out the door and ride gravel trails, basically hundreds of miles of gravel without driving anywhere. So I'll definitely miss that if and when we leave. I'm in Chicago and would love to take a trip north biking. What would you consider must-ride locations in northern Wisconsin and the UP? This answer is very difficult to answer for one kind of bike, so I'll answer it for two kinds of bikes. If you're trying to ride gravel, come up to Leona. Leona is the town or village of Leona that hosts a number of gravel races called the Bear 100, the Hibernator, and the Frosty Bear. They have some really awesome routes that span from anywhere 60 to 100 miles. So you could download those files and come ride awesome gravel in the National Forest up here. In the UP, definitely if you're going to mountain bike or even fat bike, go up to Marquette, Michigan. You won't be disappointed. Make a weekend out of it. Go one day to the North Trails and one day to the South Trails. Your mind's gonna be blown away. What's your day job and would you ever want to do YouTube full time? My day job is actually teaching. I'm an elementary teacher. I teach 3rd grade. And right now I'm really enjoying that job, and I'm really enjoying keeping this as kind of like a side gig. Not even a gig, but just a side hobby. So I don't know. It depends on what it would look like. I definitely do want to pursue the growth of this YouTube channel, but stick to the roots. The reason I created this channel is to get more people out on bikes. That's why I've started this year with some more ride videos, because I want to inspire people to go ride, not necessarily to go buy gear. Sure, the reviews will still be here, and I like gear, you might like gear, so they'll still be here, but I want to inspire people to go ride. So if I can do that and still pursue a full-time YouTube video career, whatever you want to call it, then sure, I'll do it. How did you first get into making YouTube content? I had, well, still have another YouTube channel that I don't post on really anymore, but it's a personal YouTube channel. Yeah, I just started making videos and made a couple of cycling videos during the span of that channel. I mean, it's still there, that I really enjoyed making. So I kind of decided that cycling will be the niche that I choose, and that's how this channel came to be. So the first video you saw on this channel was actually one of the videos that I posted on my other channel, and I decided, wow, this is a great video to start this channel. So I just reposted it onto this channel. I think I took it down from the other channel just for searchability reasons. Yeah, that's how I started. Before YouTube though, I just loved making videos. I was the kid in high school that would bring a little camera to school and film friends. So it's just always been a part of my life. In elementary school, I was the kid taking my parents' Canon mini DV camera out and filming skateboarding with my friends. So it's always just kind of been in my life, really, making videos. And any other social media? No, again, not really. I do have Strava though, which I'll link below. If you consider that social media, you can track my rides. And yeah, when I heal from this calf injury, I'll be back to running again. I really enjoy running, but I hurt myself in early December from not rolling or stretching my legs out, so that was my fault. All right, let's hop into the video comments because there were some over there as well. Some of you dropped some questions for this video on the last video, which I asked you guys to do, so thank you. So let's go through these. Burke, my buddy Burke. Hi, Burke. Burke Minahan. Oh, probably shouldn't say your last name. No one's gonna stalk you, don't worry. Hi, Burke, how you doing? He asks, he's a good friend of mine. I'm thinking of getting a gravel bike soon. Anything to avoid or make sure it has? In 2021, and this is taking into consideration that I'm thinking you're thinking about buying a newer bike instead of, because what I'm about to say applies to basically the bikes that are coming out on the market now, or relatively like maybe last year, maybe the year before. Not necessarily like an old gravel bike from 2015-ish, because the bicycle industry has changed so much over the past 4 or 5 years that a bike in 2015 that was meant for gravel looks very different to a gravel bike today. Nothing really to avoid in terms of gravel bikes. One thing I would avoid, personal preference though, is a a double chain ring on the front. I like to ride in the winter, I like to ride in the summer, and gravel isn't always the cleanest of riding. So you're gonna have to be cleaning your bike quite a lot. Having a single chain ring makes that, one, easier, two, you're more likely to do it after your ride, and three, easier. Yeah, doubles aren't for me. I know some of you might ride doubles. I like a single, both mountain, gravel, whatever bike I have, unless it's gonna be like a retro bike that uses a triple. I think I'm always gonna go single up front. Something to make sure it has. I think now it's gonna be really hard to find a bike without a bottle mount on the down tube, like on the bottom of the down tube, underneath the down tube. But you shouldn't buy a gravel bike in 2021 without a bottle cage mount down there. It gives you that extra capacity, and really you shouldn't be buying a gravel bike now without some fork mounts. My Kona Rove doesn't have fork mounts. The Kona Rove that's out now does have fork mounts. I think they're great. If mine came with them, I would be even more pumped. But yeah, you can't really go wrong, Burke, with any gravel bike nowadays. And if you have any questions, just shoot me a message with the bike and I'll tell you what I think about it. Benzie Boy, what's up, Benzie Boy? He's always commenting. Good person there. How's the tubeless working for you? I've had 3 failures so far and I'm about to go back to the clincher. Tubeless has been flawless. I have not had a failure since I set them up in, I think it was April. I set up both Karate Monkeys and my Kona Rove on tubeless. Haven't had a problem at all. I do fill them up every 2 months, 3 months. So maybe it's that. I don't know if you need to add some more, not slime, what am I thinking of? Sealant, tubeless sealant. So maybe try that. Mike Malone, I noticed you brought the chain tool on your ride. Wow, your videos just keep getting better and better. And who knew there are bald eagles there? There's a ton of bald eagles here. Actually, the school I teach at, we are known as the Eagles, and it's really cool, really exciting to see the kids out on the playground and seeing their school mascot fly above us. That happens all the time. And not even just one eagle, there's like multiple eagles that come fly over the kids. It's pretty cool to see. I've never seen that, like a school have their mascot at the school. Like you don't see the Panthers with a panther out in the playground. I'm curious as to what software you use for editing. I use Final Cut Pro on my MacBook Pro. One-time payment, it's kind of pricey for 300 bucks, but really it's not. When you look at what it can give you, and it's already paid for itself in YouTube AdSense or even other gigs that I've had video-wise. Bill Romano asks, have you sold the van yet, and do you have any plans for a new one? Any idea of what it would be? The Conversion series was a great watch. If you were to do a new one for the expanding family, how do you think it would look? In short, and I'll add the Jove Pavlik's question, how's the van doing? In short, we haven't sold the van yet. We've had some interested buyers, but we haven't sold it yet, so we still have it. As far as the new van goes, that probably won't happen for another year or two, at least. We don't really see ourselves traveling a ton with the baby, but when it does happen, I'll definitely document that process here on the channel. And we want to build the van out for not just a baby, but for a person, so keeping a third person in mind. I've seen a lot of van builds that have some smaller kid-sized beds. Definitely for our next van, we want to make it as future-proof as we can, which unfortunately we didn't do with this one. So not a kid-sized bed, but like an actual third single bed somewhere in the van. I think it would definitely have to be sort of a bunk bed setup, and bikes would have to go on the outside, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with. Yeah, I'm okay with, I think. Yeah, I'm okay. James asks, do you ever use studded tires? No, I've never used them, never tried them. I seem to manage with the Ventures. And last question is from Leah, Isla. Leah R. What's the model of the bike, of my bike? And I'm assuming you're asking about the Kona Rove. It is a 2018 Kona Rove LTD. Do I put any protectant on the bike frame? No, not really. There's a little strip of protection on the head tube where the head badge is, because when I run a bar bag, it really presses up your shifting cables, your brake cables onto the head tube, and that can cause a lot of abrasion. So just there, really. All right, that was it for this video. If you enjoyed this content or liked the video, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel and you like this sort of cycling talk, cycling content, cycling videos, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for asking the questions. They were really good to see and really good to answer them. I hope I did them justice with my answer for all you guys who asked them. Thank you all for the support, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, remember to stay stoked on spokes. Peace.